Check. Check one, check two, check three. All right. Looks like we're good. Um, okay, so as you guys can tell by the quality of my phone, this is actually my phone I'm recording from. Drop in the comments chat if you think that the videos are getting better. Honestly, from where I started last year, it's been about a year. I've been documenting, I think maybe since last November or December. But yeah, chat, let me know what you guys think. You think the quality is better for my phone, or do you think the webcam camera was better? Me personally, I think it's my phone, but honestly, I don't really see that big of a difference. Preferably though, since the quality does slightly look a little bit better to me, I think I'm going forward gonna just straight up record from my phone. Unfortunately, it keeps freezing, so I'm gonna have to pay attention to the webcam and make sure that it doesn't cut out for more than I want it to. I don't know how to stop that. If you know, please drop in the comments. It'll help out tremendously. Thank you. Okay, so how this week went. So this week didn't go that well. It didn't go well at all. I don't want to say 100% didn't go well because I learned a lot this week. And I've been sharing all like most of my losses I've shared with you guys. I normally on a weekly basis come to YouTube and share with you guys what I learned and what L's I've took. So what I learned, the L's that I've took, which is in the learning curve that I share with you guys on a weekly basis. I also share my wins. You know what? I might just switch back to my okay. I don't know why it's doing that. It's like cutting out. Hold on. Hold on, chat. Let me see what the problem is. Maybe it's because my phone was like locked. Could be that. It could be because my phone was locked. Hopefully it's good now. So yeah, since last November, I've been sharing with you guys experiences, ups and downs, challenges that I've given to myself, and you guys have seen me at the low peaks, the high peaks. For example, about a week ago, I passed like two. Yeah, see, it's not even the fact that my phone is locked, was locked because it just keeps on tripping out. I'm gonna just do the Brio, which is my camera here. I think that we got a better chance. I think we got a better chance at doing this because it just keeps on cutting out, and I'm not trying to. Hopefully, if it cuts out with the webcam, I'm switching back to the phone. All right. Back to where I left off at. So about a week ago, right? About a week ago, I showed you guys exactly how I passed the challenge. I actually passed two challenges within the same week, actually within the same day. Now, those were an FTMO and a funded PIPS account. On those two funded accounts or prop from accounts, evaluation challenges, I am now funded in total $110,000. It's great, but we still have work to do. So, in order to start making, I want to say commissions, because that's the term that I'm familiar with since I'm in sales. I got a sales background. I'm going to use the word commissions. So, in order to start profiting with real money, um, I have to maintain and stay within the restricted guidelines without breaching the limits, exceeding the limits that they have in place for myself. I'll give you an example. On the $10,000 evaluation challenge with funding pips, I have a limit of $600 in total drawdown. My daily limit is about 297. My current status right now, I think I'm down about $185. So I'm well within the range. In order for me to, in order for me to get that 10K account taken away from me, I'd have to fail a good amount of times. I mean, I'd probably have to have a failing back to back to back to back day like I did this past week. Now, this past week, comparing myself to how I performed compared to last year, it's not completely like a 180, but I definitely see progress because this isn't the first time that I got funded. I've gotten funded $25,000 with the Funding Pips account. The difference is that yes, this is a lower one with Funded Pips, same company, lower amount, 10K compared to 25,000, but the difference is last time when I got funded 25,000, it took me maybe less than 2 days before I blew, excuse me, not blew the account, but I breached the limits and the account got, taken away from me, respectively, because I went against the limits. Um, I didn't set the right expectation for risk management when I entered the market, and I also didn't keep track of the metrics and the restrictions on my boundaries with the risk management based on, what they offered or, the type of evaluation I bought into. I didn't exactly digest the numbers, so I definitely think that that's a good, if not the most important thing to do is digest the numbers, understand the numbers. This is all numbers. Maybe lower your risk in my opinion, and I think you'll do good. And I know that you will have a very high you'll have a very high chance of getting funded real money if you just pay attention and set your alerts accordingly and um use proper risk management and just be patient. Now with the I'll give you an example for the how the FTMO is now. So on this FTMO account, I'm not officially funded the way that I'm actually, funded and signed the agreement with Funded Pips. I'm not officially there yet because unfortunately there's two steps that you have to go through before getting the $100,000 funded account with FTMO, which is not a problem. The dilemma I'm in now though is after I have been funded the $100,000, I think it was about a week ago. Um, I'm I'm in the red and that's fine because I started each account in the red, I believe. Mainly the 10K account. It took me about 4 weeks, 3 weeks to get funded. Yeah, 3 weeks to get funded, I believe, on the 10K account. 100K account, I think less than 7 days funded. And it's easier to get funded or it's easier to make more money on a higher equity account than it is on the lower no, playing with lower numbers. So yeah, funded or not yet funded 100K, but I'm going through the evaluation phases as well, or still. And I went through the first phase. Now I'm on the second phase, and then I get on like this master type account where I sign the agreement, and then I believe it's 90-10 splits for whatever I profit as long as I don't breach the limits. So let me explain to you the stop loss and how this works on the $100,000 account compared to the 10K account. 10K account, I can't exceed a total drawdown of $600, which is fair. When it comes to the $100,000 account, I can't exceed, I believe it's 10,000. I can't have more than a $10,000 drawdown. And my target is 5,000. Current status, I'm down about 2,000. So if I lose about $8,000 more, or maybe a little bit less than $8,000 more, um, They take away the $100,000 account and I got to start all the way over. And I actually paid about almost $500 for this $100,000 evaluation. So I definitely don't want to screw it up. Um, just to rewind where I was even going with this, last year when I had the $25,000 agreement, when I got um the master account with funding pips, it was a $25,000 equity in this account. It was a master account, and it took me maybe less than 2 days before I breached the limits. I think I said this already, but now I'm handling a $10,000 account and a $100,000 account, and I've passed phases through them. I have a master account specifically with the $10,000 account, and reflecting back from last year compared to this year, I'm actually doing well, even though I'm in drawdown, even though um it's a smaller account, even though the market has had a daily reversal, then reversed again within the span of maybe 2 weeks. I didn't crash out, you know, I didn't crash out like I did last year. Last year I crashed out and it took me only less than 2 days to crash out and pretty much just forfeit my account because I didn't, I think the biggest thing is um I didn't value what I had, and I just didn't take it as serious. I understand structure a bit more. I'm more patient, and I think everybody has the opportunity to apply the same concepts in the way that they trade as well. As long as you're more patient, you're more disciplined, um, you're you're a good listener. You have to be a good listener. I think being a good listener, and like just following along with the type of concepts that these people are genuinely investing into people as a public access knowledge-based book to sell to people, or to have free online access like digital access or audibles, that they're sharing these ideas, fundamentals, concepts with people. And if you're truly and genuinely a good listener, you'll listen to what these people have to say, and not only listen but also apply it to what you already have as, let's say, your strategy or the way that you trade. So with that being said, I also finished the book, Market Wizards. It was a great book. I learned a lot from it. I'm applying a lot that I learned in the Market Wizards. I think I said that, Market Wizards, yeah. I'm applying a good amount of concepts from Market Wizards into the way that I'm trading now, which has also helped. Risk management has by far been a very important concept in the way that I'm trading nowadays. Not only risk management, but patience and discipline. So risk management, patience, and discipline has taken me far. And although last week, I know it was great getting funded and stuff like that about a week ago, but that's in the past, and we're focused on the future now. Now, the reflection that I have for this week is it didn't go terrible. If terrible would have been if I breached the limits on the $10,000 evaluation challenge that I just signed off on the agreement with, and I got it taken away from me, or you know revoked from myself. Didn't learn a thing about risk management and patience or discipline since last year. Like, that would have been the worst thing to happen to me this week, but it didn't happen. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fact that I still have both evaluation access to both evaluation challenges, both the 100,000 and the 10K. Unfortunately, because it could have been worse, every single day this week was a losing day, and that's fine. I've already accepted it, and the only thing that I can do going forward is to have uh more discipline, more patience, and focus on Um, I want to focus on. I was gonna say that going forward, I'm gonna focus on higher probability setups and with the most the best risk to reward setups and only focusing on those. But I also don't want to leave money on the table with the C plus trade or C plus my C plus setups or C plus trade ideas, C plus case studies. I think leaving money on the table, like I would do myself a disservice and leave money on the table if I didn't take into account the C plus case studies that happen on a weekly basis. Because currently I think I'm up about $1,000 in a trade. I didn't close it out yet, but I am up about between 800 to $1,000 on the $100,000 account, which brings the equity roughly around like maybe 99,000 or a little bit under 99,000, just for the fact that I'm already down almost 2,000. So, I mean, going forward, I think it's gonna be. I'm definitely, here's what, because I reflected already back on, how this week has unfortunately took uh, it's taken, it wasn't really like frustrating because I really don't let the charts get to me as much as I used to. Um, because I used to risk like, if you guys go back and watch the videos, I used to risk like between 5 to 15% on my account, on my trades per trade. So you can imagine how that went. Obviously not the prop firms, live accounts. And speaking of live account, here I'm gonna show you guys. All right, so here is, hopefully you guys can see that. So here's my journal. Like I said, I don't really show the dollar figures because I don't want to give you guys the wrong idea in thinking that it's important to focus, your attention on dollar figures. It's not as important as these people make it seem. That's just focusing on dollar figures is realistically going to do you a disservice because you're most likely, as with human behavior, it's almost like, when you're treating something in the form of dollar figure compared to percentage, which is actually more as an objective standpoint, it's almost like, um, being phased by seeing the color red. Like with human behavior, we see that our viewpoint on the color red is usually correlated to danger or, hunger, right? McDonald's. So that's the reason why, again, I don't use the dollar figures. In my opinion, it seems like it'll give you the wrong idea it'll also give myself the wrong idea. And I just don't think it's that important. So, it's actually been, I see improvement since I've started looking at numbers differently and looking at them as a percentage rather than dollar figures. It's just more objective and less emotional. Now, hopefully you guys can see my screen and what I'm showing you guys is my TradeZella journal for this month. I mean, you guys have seen the back-to-back winning weeks, right? Since this month started, you can see the first week positive, second week positive, third week positive, and then boom, chat. I lost all my profits from last week. Look at this. 15, 16, 17. Now look, if we add this is about 3 right here. 4, 5, 6, about 7, 8, 9, 10, plus 16, 17, chat. I lost all the profits that I made, chat. And this is documented from, based on the live account. So, I mean, it's not terrible, right? Because I basically broke even. But on the bright side, I got funded challenges from this week. So that's the bright side. I was able to get a funded account last week from these trades. Not only that, I was able to, pass on the other uh evaluation challenge. I didn't officially get funded, but I passed phase one, which is all that matters. As long as I pass phase one and I'm able to get to phase two, which is what I'm managing right now, then even with all of these losses that I've had right here, even with the 17 back to back to back to back to back losses that I've had on my live account, and also because I did take these trades on the evaluation prop from accounts, even then I still did not officially lose these accounts. I still have these accounts. My live account still active. Didn't, go broke, still account is still active. Equity still maintained. I broke even, yes, unfortunately, but I've learned a lot between the time that I was up 16 or 17 or 18%, um, or almost 18%. I've learned a lot, and that is pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys. So, very few times you'll see, a good week like this, and then, uh, actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna say oftentimes you'll have a good week and then a bad week. Like a very good week, very healthy week, and then a bad week. Um, Good thing though I didn't give back all my profits. I was just typically broke even. So I did share concepts in the Discord though. So if you guys haven't joined my Discord already, feel free. I'm giving free value in concepts that I use, and I also share the trades that I take on a weekly basis in the Discord. So if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe to this video. And then also I'm also gonna drop my Discord in the description. You should be able to see it below. And if you guys are already in there, hopefully you guys have already looked in the Education Hub section or channel so that you guys are able to see the, concepts that I dropped in there. So here I'm going to share it with you guys. This is just a sneak peek of the Discord. And as you can see, we got some market structure so that it's helping, a lot of new people that have joined. It also is helping people who are advanced get a little bit more advanced if you don't already know these concepts like breaks of structure, market structure shifts. If you guys have any questions about any of these things, just respond in the community, the trading floor. So the trading floor is the channel that I want you guys to utilize, and respond to me, I'll respond back, or tag me, I'll respond to your text. And it's like a generic or general chat where we're communicating with each other so that we can, be on the same page. And hopefully you can learn something from me. If you already, know stuff and it's like, you want to share stuff as well, there's also people, including myself, that can learn from you as well. So hopefully you're able to download Discord if you don't have it already, to join my free Discord and join the community. Who knows, maybe you're somebody that's going through a tough time with trying to pass a funded challenge, and you want to be in my position where you want to get the agreement to finally sign off and get access to a funded account that you can actually start making money on. Um, or maybe you already got funded. Still, chat is more than welcome to everybody. It's a completely free chat. So now, what do I want to show you guys? All right. I'm currently sitting again in a trade, and the trade. Okay, so what did I do differently this week? I changed the colors. So if you guys are in my Discord, you guys have access to the Education Hub channel and the colors that I changed for my chart. I I listed exactly because here's the deal with colors. Colors, there's an interesting thing here. Colors have a specific code. For example, if you type in 7A, 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 or obviously the hashtag is there. Hashtag 7A, 7A, 7A. The thing with numbers is if you type that in, you're gonna get a specific color gray. And I'm not gonna say I never knew that, but I've dropped these color codings so that you can copy my exact chart layout in terms of color and whatever else, background, so that it's easier on your psychology. The thing is, there's human behavior has a so the thing is human behavior has a hard time with removing emotions from color, such as red. Similar to what I had said earlier about red oftentimes being correlated to danger, or, you know, red oftentimes being correlated to food. Because if I mention the word red, you probably think of McDonald's. If I mention the word red and yellow, which are colors, you're gonna start probably thinking about, French fries and ketchup and stuff like that. And it has like um, we as humans, we just often think the same way. And it's not a bad thing. It's just once you at least realize that, it's good to at least try and start finding ways to capitalize on that. So that's why a lot of people say, when a lot of fundamentals, like they say, if your barber's starting to talk about a certain thing, then it's already saturated. I heard that this week and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But I mean, the person who said that is right. I think that was actually in the book. I don't know if it was reminiscence of a stock operator or if that was in Market Wizards, but it was one of the most, highly profitable traders, probably trading billions as a hedge fund manager who said, once people start talking about, a subject and investing, their dogs talking about it, their cats talking about it, their grandmothers talking about it, their pet hamsters over here talking about it, newborns are talking about it. At that point, it's most likely saturated, and you just want to be a little bit more cautious because many times that's just how the market, works. Accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And until, you find out that those how to, operate within those, I want to say within those lines, it could be very difficult for you. So at least, um, knowing that should definitely help. But right now, this position I'm in, I'm actively in it, and it's one of those, positions where I would risk the absolute least that I risk, and it's a C plus type of trade. So I have a grading on, how much I'm risking. C plus, absolute, least, but the risk to reward is good. Like you can see it's a 5.8. Excuse me. Maybe what I might even do is if the market continues pushing up, I might do uh I might risk the amount that I would risk on a B plus setup. So as the market continues pushing up more and more in my favor, I might just double down in the trade because, clearly the market is respecting my bias. It has respect for my directional bias. So why not add a bit more position to the um to the security or whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm actually very glad that I took note on the color because colors, again, it's very important on your psychology. Like, just imagine looking at this all day. I mean, you don't want to sit in front of the computer all day, but just imagine just looking at this all day. Like, you're looking at price just straight up red and blue. Like, it'll almost play with your psychology. And I've had enough with the manipulation of my brain. Like, you don't know how many times like I've gotten scammed and you know, just the amount of things I've like you want to be the most objective while trading. You want to have the least amount of emotions attached to these trades because if you don't, it's going to be very difficult for you to be long-term profitable. And it's taken me 6 years to figure that out. But I want to cut the time in half for everyone and just make things a little bit easier. I just, all right, like the amount of value that I share with you guys is insane. But yeah, looking at the red, green going up and down, like these types of colors, green and red, because if we look at my chart, it's also green and red, but it's not bright green and red. Like I genuinely think that these platforms make them this way to where it's like scorching red and bright green so that it's like nobody wants things to be taken from them. When you see it going in your direction of let's say bullish and you just have a blue candle going all the way up in your direction, you've got blue numbers on your screen going all the way continuing into your direction, and then you start seeing it pull back, now your numbers are falling. Now the candle's no longer even as blue as it used to be, right? It's being taken away from you. So many people don't want things taken away from them. They don't want their finances taken away from them. And it already is bad enough we have to look at these trading platforms and see our numbers go from positive blue to negative blue sometimes when it comes into drawdown. Maybe sometimes even back into positive depending on the trade. Like it's bad enough we need to see that. Maybe if we can have some control of over something, maybe we can control, the colors that we're seeing on these platforms. Um, but yeah, I think this should be extremely helpful. Again, the only indicator I'm currently using is EMA. Another thing that I've seen this week, I guess, is let's say on like Nasdaq and S&P 500, you can see that although we've had, a high, a low, a high, or higher high, and then, a new low, anticipating that we're going to be in a downtrend, you can see that the market has held up around this EMA strong. Um, Even though we shifted from bullish to bearish and then back to bullish since this candle has closed. So that's something that I took note of. I'm definitely gonna have more respect for the EMA than I did before. That's definitely something that I took note of this week. Um, like even, like there's so many other times that, the market, like for example. EMA close, can like candles start closing below the EMA, boom, you start seeing market starts, dropping and stuff like that. But we've held for quite a long time for the most part. If you were bullish, like you could have gotten somewhere even around here, right? Like this pullback right here, and then just stayed in. Like your profit could have been crazy if you just held. Your profit from here could have literally been insane. And then you could have just kept on buying and then just keep on holding. Just by respecting the EMA, the daily EMA of the 50 close. That's my settings. But I share all my settings again in the Discord, so I'm gonna have that link below. Let's do some chart work. So small chart work. I've also added a symbol if you guys have realized already. UK 100 is an added symbol in my watch list. I want to keep it indices and commodities. I don't want to really deviate from that. We can start off with UK 100. Let's do that. Let's start off with UK 100. Right now, we're above daily EMA and we're also in creating higher highs and higher lows. What I would say is, I would mark this out and then I would simply just add an alert. I'm gonna click daily 50% here in case we get that pullback. Hopefully we get that pullback, but if we don't, at least we still see the 4 hour, 1 hour bullish. Um, do not disturb. I mean, it's not terrible, but I would definitely keep it as do not disturb. I'm not really for troubling the S&P 500 unless we get a decent pullback from this point on. Since I'm already in the Nasdaq trade, so I think I'm gonna keep this also as well at D&D. And then what are we doing? And then not only that, um, yeah, that's the range right there. So yeah, D&D, gold, gold. I really see gold dropping below this point and maybe taking out this low, doing a little bit of something before going back up into the bullish direction. So hopefully, we get this as an active trade idea for maybe next week or the week after. And so that typically supports my bias for what I think is to come very soon. All we have to do, or all we could do right now is currently is just wait. Because if we look at the 1 hour, it's consolidating. And typically what happens first is accumulation, and you guys know the rest. So, that's probably where we're at right now. I think we're in the accumulation phase. So I'm gonna say light blue. I'm definitely gonna say light blue. And silver, 1 second. All right, so silver, we got, I'm gonna say markup for silver is around here. It's pretty similar to gold, so I I typically trade gold and silver the same way that I treat Nasdaq and S&P 500. Whichever one gives me the best risk to reward, I will take. So yeah. And I did like a C plus type setup here. Didn't work out. I'm still refining my C plus, the way that I trade my C plus setup. So, um, just bear in mind, I'm still working on that. Um, excuse me. Hopefully going forward, I can share with you guys, what I've pretty much implemented into my C plus type setups. My C plus trades or my C plus case studies. And then NASDAQ, you guys are pretty, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. If we look at the daily, you can't really get 3 hits on this price point. If we look at the 4 hour, you can see we've got a couple hits here. We got one. I want to count that as two, three, four, and then we close above. So when we're closing above, we also, if you look at the daily time frame, we're just above EMA and everything else. 1 hour time frame evens just keeps on creating. What should I use? I'll just use this low. Like look at the range. It just keeps on um staying within the range, which is a bit concerning because I figured I might be able to, join, but I would have, I mean, I would probably have found a way to enter here. And if I did find a way, because we didn't get price to close here, if I did find a way to get in, it would have honestly been a really good risk to reward. And then as you can see, like once we broke from up here, price closes above here, around here, we get the sell off here, ranged to about 50%. Could have even bought here. This is where the institutions and hedge funds started just kept on buying, bought here. After faking everybody, letting people think that, the overall bias was bearish when realistically they were behind the scenes pushing price upwards. That's what they were doing the whole time behind the scenes. So unfortunate, right? Unfortunately, we didn't get that, but there's always a next time. Just gotta be a little bit more aware, present, pay a little bit more attention, be a little bit more grateful, and mm, you know, a little bit more discipline. But yeah, that is pretty much what I want to show you guys for NASDAQ. Right now, I don't really have a setup for NASDAQ. I'm holding this trade for as long as, you know, it makes sense to hold it, right? I'll hold it until it doesn't make sense to hold it. Um, and then, yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys learned something from this. Um, I I have a breakdown of like breaker structure and market structure shift in my Discord. So my free Discord, again, links it's gonna be posted down right here under this video in the bio. So if you guys haven't joined my free community yet, join. You guys are more than welcome. Happy to introduce you guys to the community and welcome you guys to the trading floor. Um, like, comment, subscribe, ask me questions, and thank you guys for watching.